Hello, my name is Chris Palmer, and in today's Google My Business video for 2020, I want to discuss Google My Business and link building to your Google My Business listing. But let's get into today's video. Let's not waste any time. So, Google My Business, should you send links to your GM? So, I want to cover this, but before I dive into it, I was doing some freelance / white label, working with a partner, basically a friend of mine. We were working on some listings from my hometown in Florida. In any case, I want to discuss this, and then we'll talk about sending links to your GMB. Should you do it? Should you 301 to your business profile? Because I get this question a lot, and I really want to help you. I want to make sure that you do not get stuck and you do not run into any issues. All right? So let me just scroll on down here. I want to just show a few things, a few images, a few screenshots from when we were working together. And we don't currently have this project anymore. I currently don't work with this gentleman anymore. So a couple of months back, so in any case, we were working with a client and they were not showing up. And this is what was sent to me. All right. And we were discussing basically our plan of action. So long story short is this. All right. In any case, here was our plan of action. All right. And I was just taking a look and we were nowhere to be found. All right, so number 7 is the actual listing that we were, that's where we were sitting, but not in the 3-pack. Number 7 in the maps down below here, number 7. And really the plan of action was to locate other dense areas that did not have any competition within a mile radius, get new listings for those locations, and take up ad space. That was the plan, right? Excellent execution, excellent plan. We dominated, and I have a little bit extra, and after, I added this. Well, I just grabbed these out of the folder. In any case, after the course of some time, we did end up taking the position, all right? And I just wanted to discuss, because I do have a study. This was something that was implemented, and it was basically... And let's talk about the links now, all right? I just want to show that I implemented a plan, and as we discussed as we got into it, what we dissected was the past person that was working on this particular listing before my good friend got into business with this gentleman, all right? Before he took over this listing, the company before was sending multiple links, link wheels, old school trash to this particular listing. Now, not only were they using backlinks, but they had set up multiple properties, right? I call them buffers. You could call them whatever you would like. They also sent up numerous other buffer entities to pass more links through, and they were using 301s to the buffer going to the site to power up the buffer sites. So the long story short is this. I want to talk about 2 types of links, and should you send them to your Google My Business? And the answer is absolutely not. Not only are they unhelpful, but they could potentially also de-rank your GMB listing. Now, talking about links, absolutely not. Okay, that's covered. Should you 301 redirect links to your listing? No, absolutely not. So let's start talking about what you should do and what you should implement instead of building links or 301 redirects, because I think we have that covered. What you really want is clicks and traffic. The more branded traffic that you get, the more green inside of that. Take a look here. There's direct, discovery, and branded. All right, let's talk about direct. Now, the green is very, very important. The higher, and just to put this in the simplest terms as possible, all right, the higher you can get the green, right, a direct search for your brand, your business, your brick and mortar, whatever the case is, all right, the higher you can get that green, the more trusted your entity is. Once that green is very, very high, and I'm just saying this to make it as simple as possible, then you can start thinking about traffic and increasing CTR through all different type means. You need to establish yourself in Google's eyes as a actual business, a entity that's getting clicks, that's getting natural traffic. People know that you're an established business. Once you have that portion in place, then we can start looking at whether you want to run Facebook ads, Reddit ads, whether you want to run traffic, because the next piece is then we want to start popping up. Once you're a trusted entity, then you can start basically combining traffic with keyword searches to increase the amount of proximity that people can start finding you. You'll basically start showing up farther away. I hope that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. I hope that everything gets back to normal. I hope that your businesses I hope you guys all succeed. Have a wonderful night.